So, everyone, welcome to today's DeMatha Stag Report. I'm Cayden Boeskin here, and I'm with Jack Smith, Trent, Moltz, and Nick Reiniger, and we're going to be today. Jack, why don't you get it started with college football?
Yeah, so last night the college football rankings came out. The selection committee sat down for the first time this year and developed the rankings. So at number 1 we have Ohio State, led by Chase Young, DeMatha class of 17, followed by LSU, then Alabama, then Penn State, then Clemson, rounding out the top 5. So obviously with the rankings coming out, guys, do you have any opinions on that? Do you think they were right or wrong?
I think it was really cool what the committee did this year, like how they, instead of kind of basing it like they've done in the past a couple times on what you've done last year or like your program, I liked how they put Clemson at number 5 because Clemson doesn't really have the
strength of schedule.
Yeah, the strength of schedule that other teams like LSU, they went out and played Texas on the road. They beat
3 top
Auburn and Florida, and that really impressed me. I like how they're in there, and I think Clemson needs to prove themselves a little bit more before they get in the top 4.
I agree with that. I agree. Alabama also being moved down to 3. They've been a powerhouse with them and Clemson, just being flipping back and forth with 1 and 2 the past 3-4 years now. I think Ohio State, with like you said, Chase Young and Justin Fields, both sides of the ball, they're just unstoppable either way. I think LSU's got a strong defense, got a strong linebacking core that's really pushed them to beat those top 10 teams and really push their success this year.
Yeah, big game this week, LSU versus Alabama. I actually have Alabama winning this game. Do you think Tua is going to play?
While they haven't disclosed it yet, Saban's kind of pulling a very secretive trick. He's holding information back from the press to let LSU know that, to kind of keep LSU on their heels with regards to is Tua going to come out or are they going to play their backup, who's actually been playing really well in the last few weeks. So good little strategy by Saban.
Yeah, he's making LSU have to practice twice as hard for Tua, who's more of a run threat than their backup now.
Yeah, I think that game's certainly going to be one of the more interesting games of the week, and I don't know if I can make a prediction, but I'd say if if Tua does not play this game, I definitely would have LSU winning because Mac Jones is an inexperienced guy, and it's going to be tough for him to come out on the big stage and at home versus LSU and pull out a victory.
It's going to be an exciting game. See what the boys can do. I think that if, like you said, if Tua doesn't play, I think LSU's got the upper hand just because, like what you said, Mac Jones is an unexperienced quarterback, and he's going to come out, he's going to be timid in the first quarter, but it'll be interesting to see what Saban does if they go down early.
Another interesting game this weekend between a lot of DeMatha grads would be Ohio State versus Maryland at 12 o'clock on Saturday. So this game is quite interesting because Maryland last year took Ohio State to the wire, almost beating them on a 2-point conversion as time expired. And Maryland being led by Anthony McFarland, class of 17, and having Marcus Minor and Austin Fontaine on the line, they definitely can run the ball very well. Do you guys think Maryland can kind of repeat the same recipe and keep it a good game with Florida or with Ohio State?
I don't know. That's gonna be a tough game. Ohio State, like I said, they're solid on both sides of the ball. Chase Young's coming back home. He's gonna be ready. He's gonna show off for the family because I know he's gonna have a lot of people there watching him. But I think Maryland's got some tricks up their sleeves, like what you said. McFarland, he's a speed running back. Really, once he hits that second line, he's off to the races.
I think I kind of agree with Trent. It's going to be a really tough game. Maryland's going to probably struggle a little bit, I think, because Ohio State, obviously, they're number 1 in the polls. They're a really good team, and Maryland's kind of been – they started off the season well, but they kind of been struggling as of recently. I think Ohio State's probably going to be a big favorite in that one, and I think it's fair.
Another interesting point to add, Chase Young is a Heisman candidate, which – as a defensive player is nearly impossible. Do you guys think if he, based on everything that's going down, if he keeps up his rapid pace of tackling and obviously has 5 forced fumbles, do you think he'll stay in that conversation for a few weeks?
I think he's a good candidate. He works hard. You can just see, we saw him walking around here at DeMatha just a few years ago, and he was still a freak of nature, big guy, but he's just grown massively with his muscle mass and all of that. You can tell that he's still working hard, and obviously his stats show with the outstanding numbers he's had so far, and there's still plenty of year to go. I think that if he continues the path he's on, he's got a good shot.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got a shot at winning the Heisman, which is freaking amazing considering he's on defense. And the Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts got a lot of tough games coming up. So does Chase Young. So all three of the top candidates are going to have some big games to show what they can do.
Rivalry games are going to.
Yeah, Chase has like 13.5 sacks. If he keeps this up, I think he's got the Heisman.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool to have a DeMatha guy win the Heisman Trophy.
That'd be
Definitely
cool.
be good.
Someone we say that we know.
All right, so let's take a look at the college basketball and NBA scene now. We got a couple of DeMatha guys that just recently committed. We got Earl Timberlake, our 5-star guard. He just committed to the University of Miami, and he chose the Hurricanes over UNC, Pitt, Alabama, South Carolina, and others. So what do you guys think Earl's going to be doing over at Miami?
I think that was kind of a out of the blue pick. The talk around DeMatha at least was either Duke or Providence, only because either you take the bright lights at Duke and you follow through the plan and try and be one of those one-and-done players and just be in that atmosphere playing against the best of the best every night, or Providence was a high hopes because he's going to be able to start all 4 years. And I think he's got that at Miami. I think he might be able to, if he continues to work hard, then I think that he might have a shot of playing, if not 3 years there, and getting a lot of good looks.
Yeah, you got to give credit to longtime coach at Miami, Jim Reiniger. Definitely knows how to get it done, knows how to recruit, knows how to use Miami's great campus to his advantage. He'll be joining guys like Chris Likes from Gonzaga. He'll be joining a lot of local DMV players who are down in Miami. So it should be interesting to see how that dynamic plays. But Miami is definitely a team that you could look at getting good in the next few years, especially with guys like Earl Timberlake joining the roster.
100%.
And next up, we got forward Paul Smith, just committed to East Tennessee State. Another guy we're super excited about, and we expect him to have a breakout year. I saw in this story, actually, East Tennessee is ranked the number 3 college in mid-major, top 25 right now, so we're excited for him.
I think, again, that's another situation where he had opportunities to go to the bright lights, but he chose his playing time, which I think is a smart move. Instead of sitting on the bench, I think it's a smart move to take where you know you're going to play.
And obviously we got our guy Justin Moore, just started his career last night versus Army. He actually started in the starting lineup, put up 8 points, had a pretty solid game as the Wildcats beat Army 97 to 54 this season. So what are you expecting from him this season?
I think it was a surprising, that he got in the starting lineup. Shows that he's probably been putting in a lot of work over the offseason, getting his face in front of the coaches, showing them that he's got that beautiful mid-range shot that he showed here at DeMatha. I think that he's got a big future ahead of him.
Yeah, it should be obviously Villanova, one of the top basketball programs in the country. Really awesome to have one of our guys just being a freshman and come in there and play, get some big minutes. All right, let's talk about the NBA a little now. And we got obviously a couple guys in the NBA. Right now, our main guy, Victor Oladipo, is currently out with a ruptured right quadricep. So that's a big loss for the Pacers. But once he gets back, what are you guys expecting from Victor Oladipo this season?
Well, Victor Oladipo plays both sides of the ball well. You expect big things from him when he's back.
Yeah, obviously, tear in the right tendon is, or however you pronounce the injury, it's a very big deal. So with the no timetable, it's kind of good. He's taking his time to make sure he actually heals correctly, and hopefully when he comes back, he'll be 100% healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, obviously, hopefully he's back to his all-star form. The Pacers are really going to need him. I think they're sitting at 3-3 right now, and I bet you they wish they had Victor Oladipo on the squad. So next, Markelle Fultz, the former number 1 overall pick from DeMatha, obviously. He's actually playing really well for the Magic right now, setting career highs in points per game efficiency and field goal percentage, which is things you like to see coming off an injury, like with his shoulder, which affected his jump shot a lot last year. And he actually had a game versus the Raptors this year with 13 points, 5 assists, and 2 rebounds. He's been coming off the bench, but he just worked his way into the starting lineup. You guys want to talk a little bit about what you expect from Colts?
I think this is the first time in his NBA career where he's actually been healthy. Like, he was always battling with that shoulder injury and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder coming back from that injury. Really wants to prove why he was the overall pick. I think he's put a lot of work in over the offseason, and it'll be interesting to see where he goes from here.
Yeah, it's definitely cool looking at your Instagram page, your Twitter, and seeing Markelle Fultz dunking on people and shooting the ball really well. So it's looking like he's having a good time out there. He's definitely having fun playing basketball again. I think he's in a lot better of a scenario with the Orlando Magic than he was with Philly, which has been known to be a very impatient fan base. So it's good that he's easing his way into the starting lineup in Orlando. Expectations are kind of off of him, but he knows that he can be just as good as anyone in the league. So the ceiling's very high for him, and I can't wait to see what he does for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what he can do. I think he's going to become that superstar we always knew he could be at DeMatha this year with that better support system in Orlando than he's getting in Philly. We got a couple other guys in the NBA as well from DeMatha. We got Jerry and Grant and Quinn Cook, both doing great things off the bench. They're both averaging around 7 points per game, a couple rebounds, and both their teams are off to really good starts. Quinn Cook being on the Lakers 6-1. Obviously, they're one of the most talented teams in the league. How do you think Quinn Cook can help be a role player on the Lakers and help lead them to obviously their goal of an NBA championship?
I think Quinn Cook, being the passer that he is, I think that he could really be an asset to LeBron and Anthony Davis, just really feeding them the ball, getting them the open shots, and he still has that. He still can drive to the paint like any other point guard. I think he needs to get his assists up more than his points, only because he's playing behind those two perennial all-stars.
Yeah, he's also an NBA champion himself, so hopefully he can bring some of that, the knowledge that he had with when he won the championship with the Warriors to that new Lakers team with a lot of young guys on it. So
an interesting point to add about that, Quinn Cook played 4 years at Duke, playing year in and year out with #1 recruits, top 10 guys, 5-star All-Americans. So it's something Quinn Cook is definitely used to, not being exactly the best player, but being a right player on a team. He did it with the Warriors, knowing that he was a backup point guard with guys like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. So I definitely think Quinn Cook found a right role with the Lakers because he knows how to get the guys the ball, and he can definitely serve as a very good role player in the Lakers offense.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point. So let's pass it over to Nick.
Yeah, switching over to the NFL, the 49ers are 8-0, and the Patriots are 8-1. So leading the MVP voting race so far in the season, Russell Wilson. He's just put up numbers on numbers. How are we feeling about those Seahawks?
I think he had that one rough game against the Patriots, but with that powerhouse defense, you knew it was coming. He's only thrown 1 pick so far, which is just incredible. But he's, like I said, he's just like Justin Fields at Ohio State. He can throw the ball, but also if you put guys back in the second line to guard those, he'll just run right by your defensive lineman and get 10, 12 yards.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is expected to return for the Chiefs, so that'll just help that high-flying offense a lot more.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are definitely going to be excited, obviously, to get their MVP quarterback back, and he just takes their offense to a different level.
Yeah, you got to give it to Matt Moore, though, sticking out a very big win versus anyway, just picking up a very big road win, taking the Chiefs to 6-2.
Yeah, keeping them in playoff contention.
So yeah.
Well, Cameron Wake is a DeMatha grad of '99. He's playing for the Titans right now. He's a long-time Miami player, and he's playing defensive end. He's a 5-time Pro Bowl selection. How do we feel about him?
I know he's coming off an injury when he got traded to the Titans. So he's had a little bit of a rocky start, but I think he's going to come back into his old self, be ready to go.
I think he's definitely. I assume he's excited not to be on the Dolphins because they're just absolutely terrible right now. It was a good time to get traded from them, and I'm sure he's excited about this new opportunity. And he's probably just working through some things right now, and I'm sure he'll be getting better as he gets more comfortable in Tennessee.
Yeah, keep in mind Cameron Wake is close to 36 years old, which is insane as a defensive lineman, and how he's still doing it at this high of a level is crazy. Whenever I'm at a family reunion, my uncle who graduated back with him always has some funny stories about him and how hard of a worker he was, obviously going undrafted, not getting a lot of Division I looks, and how he's continually one of the best D linemen in the league. It's kind of just a testament to how he works hard and what he can do for an NFL roster.
Yeah, I think he definitely probably ranks up there as one of the greatest players in DeMatha football history.
Yeah, switching over to the 8-1 Patriots, Jawan Bentley, class of 14, he's playing linebacker for them, and he's just putting up absolute numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots defense has played, they've been kind of usually it's the offense for the Patriots, but this year it's really been the defense that has been leading them to this great 8-1 record, and they've just been causing turnovers, doing everything, and Jawan's been a big part of that. So.
Yeah, the New England defense would be 3-3 if the offense never touched the field. That's how many points the defense is scoring off pick six, fumble recoveries. They're just doing everything they can to push their team forward.
Yeah, interesting to add another player under the Bill Belichick machine. He's just another guy that fits into his system really well. Obviously has some athleticism at the linebacker position, which is what Belichick really likes. And just another guy, whenever the Patriots lose players, it's the next man up mentality, and Jawan Bentley really fit into the role with key linebackers leaving the Patriots last year.
Yeah, like Belichick says, you just got to do your job in the system and you'll be successful, so I'm glad it's working out well for him.
So, Rodney McLeod, class of 2008, he's playing safety for the Eagles. He was the first DeMatha graduate to win the Super Bowl.
It's really cool. I remember a couple games in that Super Bowl season that he had. He had some big interceptions at big times, and it was just really cool seeing a DeMatha guy make some big plays, lead the Eagles, helped him win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was really a key role for that Philly defense, bringing in a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, just anytime anyone can get a Super Bowl ring, it's very impressive, and to be able to associate his work and his time spent and the Super Bowl that he won, to associate that with DeMatha is really cool, and it's just another check mark on the long list of accolades that DeMatha athletes have accomplished over the many years of existence. It's really cool, though, that he could get it done.
All right, so obviously the MLB playoffs just wrapped up, so Trent, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
The Nationals won the World Series, obviously bringing the title home to D.C. We love that. We've been waiting for it for a while now. I think it was a great year all in all, just for the Nationals. I know they started off to a rough 19-31. At that time, they had a 0.1% chance of even making it to the World Series. And then they came up against a powerhouse Houston Astros, who they just had everything. They had the starting pitching, they had the hitting, they had the defense. They had everything on their team, and they just somehow the Nats worked together as a team to pull that out.
Yeah, I think the Nats were just a team that was just always grinding it out. They may not have been the most talented team, but they always just had the mentality to, even like at the beginning of the season, you said they started struggling. They were just able to grind it out, and I think that was just their mentality. Obviously, finish the fight. So they were just working through it all season.
Just a little quick thing to add. I'm not really a huge baseball fan, but during the Nats playoff run, I was 100% invested. All the games were extremely exciting, obviously hitting many late runs, keeping you on your toes. They never made it look smooth, they never made it look easy, but like they stayed in the fight, and obviously winning the World Series was really cool, just living in the area and seeing everyone go to the parade. Now, Trent, I know you were at the parade.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was an exciting experience. Just being able to be in the atmosphere of all that excitement in the buses rolling through and everything, seeing all the guys up there that have been working hard through their high school, college, like minor league career, all of that time and effort that they put in, finally being able to like relax and realize that they've succeeded.
Yeah, I also went to the parade. The atmosphere was absolutely awesome, and for me and Trent both play baseball, obviously, and it's cool to see people at the highest level getting on the biggest stage, winning the World Series, and that's kind of like what we strive for.
And I think the baseball guys were on our side with that wild card game when the right fielder for the Milwaukee Brewers, Trent Grisham, came in and just whiffed on that ground ball that allowed Anthony Rendon to score. I think that was a big key spot in the playoffs, even though it was early, to push the Nats forward. I think they realized that they might actually have a shot at this.
Yeah, shout out to Bryce Harper for leading the Nationals and still saying that he wants to bring a title back to D.C. in a Phillies uniform.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to see the fallout from the Harper contract, him taking $330 million to go to the Phillies, and even though turning down nearly just as much money to stay with the Nats, and obviously it came and backfired. But another interesting point is I was at the Caps game the 2 days after they won the World Series, and it was super cool to see all the Nationals players on the ice, on the Zambonis. They're kind of bringing in a little bit of the Caps Stanley Cup celebration kind of style to their World Series win, and it's cool to see them walking around D.C., interacting with the people, and looking like they're having a really fun time right now.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. We really enjoyed talking to you guys. We'll see you whenever the next broadcast is, and that's it, boys.
Thank you.
Yep. See ya.